Asmita says the epic of Ramayana is found across Southeast Asia and the local variations are very popular. However, compared to this, the Mahabharata and the Bhagavad Gita are not as popular. What could be the reasons? This is a very interesting question. So, yes, like Asmita says, there are a variety of versions of the Ramayana are found all across Southeast Asia. In Burma, in Thailand, in Cambodia, in Laos, in Vietnam, in Indonesia, Malaysia, and so on and so forth. Everywhere there are in Bali. So there are various local variations of the Ramayana story, of the ancient history of that time, right? And it's very popular all across Southeast Asia. But the Mahabharata does not seem to be that popular, and neither does the Bhagavad Gita seem to be that popular. But Lord Rama is very popular, and his story is very popular. So why is it so, right? So Indian culture first spread to Southeast Asia maybe 3,500 years before today. It spread via the ancient merchants of Kalinga, present day Odisha. It is the people of Kalinga, merchants who traded with these far away places, that spread Indian culture to these places. So I have a whole different video about that episode of Indian history, the spread of culture to Southeast Asia from India via the merchants of ancient Kalinga. And it is still celebrated even today via the festival of Boita Bandhana. So these guys used to go in large ships, and even today that is commemorated in Odisha. And there is the Bali Yatra also, and so on. Right. So it is from ancient Kalinga that Indian culture spread throughout Southeast Asia. And later there was the conquest by the Chola Empire, which happened about 1,000 years before today. So that was the second wave of inculturation. But by that time, the entirety of Southeast Asia was very much Indianized and Hinduized. And later it became Buddhist and so on. That's all the same thing, more or less. So we know that the Ramayana is very popular there. I would imagine that the people of Kalinga who went to Southeast Asia would have taken the Ramayana with them, and maybe at that time in Kalinga, in Odisha, maybe the Mahabharata was not that popular or prevalent. That is one possibility that I can think of. I mean, I don't know of any historian who has answered this question. That's why it's such a good question. You've asked a question that no historian has bothered to answer. So I would conjecture that maybe in ancient Kalinga, 2.5, 3,000 years before today, the Ramayana must have been very popular, and maybe not the Mahabharata so much at that time, for whatever reason. And maybe that's why the Ramayana became so popular all across Southeast Asia, which is strange because if you look at the Kalinga of 1,000 years before today, if you look at the history of Kalinga, Odisha, in the past 1,000 years, uh, Vaishnavism is a very big deal there, right? You had the great Kavi, the great poet Jayadev, who composed the Gita Govind, which is a very, very influential uh, devotional text full of poetry. Some of it even made its way into the Guru Granth Sahib in Punjab. And there is this ongoing tussle between the people of Odisha and Bengal about who really owns Jayadev Mahakavi, right? That sort of thing. So in more recent times, in Odisha, I would say the Bhagavad Gita was very popular, the Gita Govind as well, and because of that, the Mahabharata as well. But it looks like that in ancient times, the Ramayana was way more popular, and that's perhaps why that same popularity was transferred into Southeast Asia. So that's what I can conjecture. It's something that certainly deserves proper research. So, very good question.